interwebs. Screen replacement time. I've got a HP it's a HP Pavilion 15-CC series with a broken screen. As you can see, we've got a dark crack across the screen there. So I've got a replacement panel lined up for this, so we're going to open this up. This will be a very straightforward job. There's no screws. This dark black bezel is just going to rip off the front of it. However, the problem is they've glued it in, so I can't actually get my fingernails between the screen and that bezel. That's what's going to make this one a bit tricky. So firstly, I'm going to get my prying tool. I use a metal prying tool. Palette knife will probably do the trick. The plastic ones probably won't cut it for this laptop. And I'm just going to dig down the side. Oh, it's already partially come out. Where this laptop has been dropped, this has actually popped out the side slightly already here. But you know what, I'm just going to stick that back in, just so I can show you how to get it out. There we go. Right. Okay, right. And I'm going to dig in there and just pop that open. So now we've got that gap there. And now I'm just going to move around the screen and rinse and repeat. So don't worry about getting into the corner itself like that. Hit all the points around the corner and the corner will follow, basically. There you go. And don't worry too much about how far out it comes. We just need it to come loose like that. Right, and now down to the side. If you hit a point where you just cannot get your prying tool in there, then just try moving somewhere else. Just try going to another point on the screen and prying from there. And you'll find that once you've weakened another position, that tough spot will probably loosen up. Right. Okay, now where we've loosened this up, I think we might be able to peel this off now. So I'm going to start from this corner here. And I'm just going to peel that corner. And yeah, as you can see, I've just actually managed to get in behind there. So now I'm just going to slide along. Now because this panel is broken, I don't need to worry about scratching it or anything like that, which makes my life nice and easy. If you're trying to do this without destroying the panel, because you're doing something else in the laptop, like, I don't know, replacing Wi-Fi antennas or a webcam or something like that, you obviously need to be a little bit more careful here. It can be done, you just have to be careful. Right, that bottom bit's going to be a problem. I don't want to pry like that, that's going to snap something. Let's try again. It's kind of trying. I don't really like the way that feels. Let's see if we can get to the bottom of this display assembly. So now I've just turned the laptop over and I'm just going to dig in here, behind there. And again, we haven't created a huge gaping chasm here. I've literally just popped those clips open. And we'll find that when I open the laptop back up again, that's suddenly become a lot more compliant. That hasn't actually gotten me anywhere though. No, we're going to have to just get vicious there. So again, because I don't need to worry about the LCD, that's not really much of an issue for me. If I was trying not to break this LCD, this bit would be a bit nerve-wracking. I could get a very sharp Stanley blade and just very carefully cut along, being sure to tilt toward the plastic. So if this is a Stanley blade, I would dig it in there and I would be twisting it like that. So I'm cutting away from the screen and toward this plastic. So I won't cut through the plastic, and that just makes sure that we don't cut into the screen. However, because this LCD is broken, I don't care about it, so I can just drag my prying tool along there like that. There we go. And are you going to pop out? Not quite. What if we open that up further? There we go. And that's just wrestled out. And I apologise for the horrible contrast ratio because we've got black on silver here. It's wreaking havoc with my camera. Okay, let's just tilt that back. Right, so now we just need to take out screw, 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 screw. Apologies, that screw and that screw, not the outer ones. Those outer ones are for the strut bars going down the side. It's quite good that those are actually there. Okay, so Phillips 0 screws, out they come. Right, and now I'm going to tilt that screen forward and lay it down flat on the keyboard. And we now need to disconnect the display cable. So this has got a sticker that covers it and prevents it from coming out on its own. So I'm going to try and peel that back because then we can reuse it. And then just push that out. There we go. And there's our broken panel. And that goes in the bin. Right, and here comes my new panel, which I purchased from eBay. And I did that by searching for HP 15-CC LCD. And that came up with a couple of different panels. This one cost me £35. You could also go to analogic.co.uk apparently. However, quite a lot of the time, the LCD manufacturers, they do routinely send me emails saying, "Oh, we noticed you buy a lot of panels from us. You could buy them directly from us," which they want me to do because then they don't have to pay eBay fees. However, when I buy it from them on eBay, I get free delivery. But when I buy it from them on their website, I have to pay like 8 quid or 10 quid delivery. So I'm just like, why would I do that? It's cheaper on eBay. After we've accounted for delivery, it's still cheaper on eBay. So yeah, sorry guys, give me free delivery and I'll buy directly from you. Anyway, so again, as you can see, I'm laying that flat down on the laptop and we're going to reconnect the display cable. So there's not a lot of, we've got no slack on this display cable. This is a tricky one. Sometimes you can just unhook the display cable from the bottom of the display assembly and get a little bit more movement. But this one's not playing ball, so I'll give you the close-up as I put this back on for what that may or may not be worth. So here we go. So again, I'm holding it by that label because that label goes all the way to the back there, so I'm not straining everything. And we're just going to guide that into place. The important thing here is not to bend this bottom bit. This black area, we must not bend this up or down because that'll damage the LCD. So let's get that in there. Ugh. Ugh, that's a horrid one. Okay, that's kind of sorts it in, but not properly. I'm just going to use some tweezers there just to pinch those together. Still didn't feel very convincing. Just going to go in there with a... Yeah, no, that's in. That doesn't look very convincing at all to me. However, you can see that it's the connector is closed, so that doesn't want to go any further, so we'll go with that. We're going to test this in a minute, as you'll see. And I've stuck down this sticker so it can't fall out of its own accord. So now we flip that upright. And I'm just going to put that back in place so it's resting on the mounts. Okay, so that panel is now just resting in place, and now we're going to turn it on and check that it works. And I'm going to spam the escape key just so it doesn't try and start up. This will take us to the boot menu. Okay, right, we got a backlight. If you were keen-eyed there, you would have noticed that it went from completely jet black to a pale grey. You can see the backlight quite clearly on the camera. So that's the display initializing the backlight coming on. It's very uncommon for the backlight to come on when the display isn't going to work. And then finally, obviously, we now have a picture as well, so no worries. Now I'm just going to leave that turned on and just jiggle it a bit, just make sure that's okay. Yeah, that's all right, that's happy. That's not a loose connection, that's not going to die as soon as I've put the screws in. So let's turn that off again. If you don't get a picture, don't panic. Just fold your panel back out remove the display connector and try and put it back in again. If it doesn't work the first time, the most likely thing is that the display cable isn't in properly. Every time I have problems replacing an LCD, it's because the connector isn't in properly. Well, not every time, but like 9 times out of 10. Alright, so now we remove the film in front. Of course, you want to leave the film on it for as long as you can. However, we need to remove the film before we put the plastic bezel back on. So we may as well take it off now. And then I'm just going to make sure that I don't put any fingerprints on the screen. We can clean it once it's done, which I often do. Because after removing that plastic film, you will probably find that dust just goes onto the front of it because it'll be all staticky from the film. And the solution there is you can't really use any good anti-static stuff on LCDs. However, to clean these things, I use ordinary glass cleaner. That's IPA. Where's my glass cleaner? Ordinary glass cleaner. So I've got Tesco window and glass. So like Windex as a brand name for America, that kind of thing. Literally just the same thing that you'd clean your household windows with, and a microfiber cloth. I find that's a very effective way of cleaning laptop screens. Contrary to popular belief, that will not damage the screen. I've never damaged a screen with that, unless the screen was already damaged. If you start wiping with Windex and you're damaging the screen, it's because the coating was already damaged. That is what I've discovered. Right, we're done. Okay, so now we've got to put this bezel back on, so I'm just going to tuck that down back of the laptop and just guide in those hinge covers there. And just kind of get those back in. There's no real way to describe how to do this, you've just got to work them in there. There we go. That's moving into place. Good. And I'm just going to turn the laptop over and check. Yeah, that looks okay. Cool. Right, and now we're just going to press this back into place. So I'm going to start at the webcam, and I'm just going to go around the screen, clicking it all back in. Don't worry if it doesn't click, just keep going round and round. If the bit doesn't want to sit properly, move on and do somewhere else. That's not quite right. We've got a tiny little bit of a gap there. You can see it just where there's a little bit of a bulge. Nah, that's fine. I'm just giving that a press and that seems to have been fine. That's all right. Cool. Right, and now to do the bottom, I'm going to put one hand on the back of the screen like this and open it, so I'm supporting from the back. And using the backs of my fingers, I'm just going to press that in at the bottom. And nothing's happening. Okay, fine. Let's close the laptop slightly and check from the back. That's quite a difficult one to get to. So, however, this is a weird laptop. From the back, as you can see, there's quite a lot of overhang here. So I've actually closed the laptop entirely. And I'm just going to use my prying tool to get in there. So we're just going to use the prying tool and just go like that. There it goes. And look for the hinges as well. As you can see, those aren't quite shut properly. So again, prying tool down there and just pinch that shut. Same with the other side. That one's shut of its own accord, no problem. There we go. Beautiful. And that is all done. Give it one last turn on to make sure it's still good. Donezo. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. I'll see you all next time. Goodbye for now.